What's up guys, it's your boy Kurt, coach of the Emerald Enamorous, bringing you week 8 of the FBL vs Smurfy and the Adelaide Archeops, another fellow Aussie. So I'm just going to quickly go over the team here as we go into the match preview. I've got the Scarf Chiyu because Scarf Chiyu is just really nice here. I can click Dark Pulse on almost his entire team, and anything I can't Dark Pulse I can click Overheat on, or Lava Plume. We've got Sash Lead Meowscarada, as it is a spike setter. It's here to be annoying with U-turn, with knockoff, just to get some information out of his team, break some sashes and stuff like that. We have the protective pads Urshi for Rapid, purely for Flame Body Moltres. I don't want to get burned from clicking Surging Strikes and making contact, and also potential Rocky Helmet on an unaware Quagsire in case he is unaware and not Water Absorb. We have Agility, Weakness Policy, Anemoristherian. This thing just goes absolutely insane if I can get my Weakness Policy off and my Agility. Just a whole lot of damage there. And we have just a Fizdef Clodsire because it's just here to switch into Cleavor, be annoyance for King Gambit, be annoyance for all of his physical attackers that he had. And with Unaware stops him from setting up and being a problem. And finally we just have Fatfish, the Alamumala. It's here to just pass wishes around. Keep Chiyu healthy, keep Anemoris healthy, keep the team healthy while also just being completely obnoxious. So we'll get into the battle here. As we're obviously going to lead with Meowscarada, as he's going to lead with the Moltres. So this is not the lead I was hoping for. I was hoping for like the Grafaiai lead, so I could click Spikes or something like that on that thing. So I'm just going to U-turn, turn 1. I lose nothing by clicking U-turn, gives me momentum. I can pivot out into my Clodsire, into my Chiyu. Either way, I'm getting a lot of damage off here. So that was my entire thought process here. As I'm just going to go into Chiyu. Chiyu is so free to just click Dark Pulse in this matchup because he is never going to switch in King Gambit. Never in a million years is he going to pivot that in on a potential Fire type attack. As he goes for the Hurricane and misses, which is really unfortunate. I do genuinely feel bad about that. That could have been a lot of damage onto this Chiyu. And could have mattered late game if Chiyu didn't have its full HP here. So I'm just going to click Lava Plume because I feel like he's going to switch into like King Gambit or something, and I want to be able to get the damage up on that. See, Hurricane's here and does about half health, so yeah, that really mattered because it meant that I could click Lava Plume and not fear dying. So I'm now going to go into the Clodsire. I am sure that I can take one based on that damage. He seems to be like a more bulky Clodsire. And he's actually just going to go for the Tailwind, which is a really cool bring and a really nice tech on his part. So I'm going to get my Rocks up here. I have no reason not to just get Rocks up. It punishes a non-Boots Cleavor, it punishes his Moltres if it's not Boots when it comes back in. It helps get chip on stuff like this Quagsire here later on down the line. So we're going to get Rocks up here, and that's really nice, getting the Rocks up. Being able to make sure that he can't switch around freely without Boots. So I'm thinking here, like, what can he do? I take a Surf, I take an Earthquake, I can take anything from this Pokemon. It's really not that offensively scary. And he can't really touch me back since he can't Toxic me, so I'm not too worried about that side of things. So I feel like I can just fire off a Toxic. My Earthquake, there's no point. There's also no point in pivoting around here. So I'm just doing Calcs to see if he does make a double pivot, what he could go into and how little he's going to take. So I'm going to click the Toxic, and he's actually going to go for Spikes, which is a really nice bring again on his part. He's got some really cool techs here. So we're going to click the Toxic, and we are going to get a Toxic off onto this Quagsire. So we've got the Toxic off onto this Quagsire, and that's a massive help to be able to have this thing whittled down, to have this thing just be obnoxious and be really without the Toxic, it would just be able to cover spam all over my team other than this Meowscarada here. So we're going to go into Meowscarada as he's going to go for the Surf now, which I had a feeling he would go for. We absolutely eat that up with the Resist. He's just doing no damage. The Toxic is big. And this is where I can get up my own spikes, or I can click Knockoff, or I can do a lot of different things here. I have no fear of this Quagsire. So I'm gonna get up my spikes here, and that's gonna be a nice chip on things like the Fire. It's gonna be a nice chip on things like King Gambit, which he does end up going into here. So he goes into King Gambit as I just fire off my spikes. And so now we have rocks and a layer of spikes up, and that's huge for me. So now I'm thinking here, if he sucker punches on my grounded attack, like on my ground typing, does he kill? Does he kill if I do what? Is there any point in me clicking U-turn? Is there any point in me just hard switching? So I'm just gonna click U-turn. He's actually just gonna hard switch the King Gambit straight back out, potentially fearing a ground type attack, I guess. And he's going to go into Moltres, and he is not Boots Moltres. So Clodsire getting a nice pickup on the kill with the Stealth Rocks onto the Moltres. That's absolutely huge here. Really, really nice for me being able to kill that Moltres early. It was a problem for me. I didn't really have much other than Urshi Rapid and Shiyu to hit it. As he's going to go into Cleavor. And I know I can take any hit from this with Clodsire, but I'm still calculating how much damage he could do if he was Choice Banded. Because I had a feeling he's probably just going to go for like Stone Axe or something, try and get his rocks up. Because that would make the most sense to me, is try and get his rocks up here. And punish me from doing all my pivots that I've been doing. Punish the potential Emerald and the potential Anemoris Therian. That could be something. So we're going to get into Clodsire, and he's actually going to go for the Fury Cutter, and he's just going to bounce off our Clodsire. That is absolutely no damage, and we will take that every single day. So I'm just going to click Toxic again. I have no reason not to just fire off another Toxic. Like, if he goes Crest on my Earthquake, then he gets Toxic. If he goes into Grafii, it's fine, it can't touch me, and I can poison it. If he goes into his own Quagsire, sorry, he just can't touch me, because I can just go back into Miascarada and click Flower Trick for free. Now that his Moltres is gone, I do not fear clicking Flower Trick at all. As we are actually going to get the Toxic off onto the Cresselia, which is absolutely massive. Getting this thing Toxic is going to be huge for later on down the line. So, we've now got a Toxic on Crest. I'm never going to stay in here. I don't want to risk a Psychic. I don't want to risk him clicking anything of that sort. There is no point in me risking a turn that I don't have to risk. So we're just going to go back into Hello Critty on the Psychic. Because I have a feeling that it's going to click something like Psychic or Psyshock. One of those two. He's never going to click Gleam on the Clodsire. Especially not when I have Urshi in the back, but he actually goes to the Future Sight. So that was a really good bring for long term. But I feel like if he had Psychic here, he might have been able to scare Clods a little bit more efficiently. Because now I know that Clods can stay in on this for 2 turns every single time. So I'm just going to click Knockoff here because it does the most damage. Flower Trick doesn't do enough. Knockoff with its super effective typing, just super effective plus stab bonus is just really, really nice. It's doing like 80% to a Cresselia. So Cresselia's Toxic. If he stays in, he gets a knockoff, loses his item, potentially dying to Toxic this turn. If he switches, then I'm getting util off of something else. So he is just going to stay in, and I'm going to click Knock and do an absolute load to that Cresselia, just absolutely destroying its HP, as he's actually going to go for the Light Screen. I'm not sure why he went for the Light Screen there, but he does die to the Toxic, so again, Clods with yet another kill by status or hazard. It hasn't actually directly done any damage to a Pokemon, it's just been Toxic and Stealth Rocks. As he is going to go into the Grafii. And I'm not worried about this. I'm never scared of what this thing can do. I'm just going to click Raw Knockoff again. So we're just going to click Knockoff, and Miascarada gets a kill on the Grafii. Absolutely massive damage there. Absolutely massive for what I needed to do. As the Future Sight's going to come out, It's not going to affect the Meowscarada. And we're now up 6-3, and this is looking really, really nice for us. So he brings back out the Cleavor, getting hurt by rocks and spikes, so he was not Boots. So I was fearing Scarf here, so I didn't want to stay in. I felt like that would be a really, really bad play to stay in. As we're going to go into the Urshifu Rapid Strike here on the potential Bug-type attack. And we're going to get hurt by the layer of spike, and he's just going to Fury Cutter again, not doing a whole lot of damage. As I'm just going to go straight for the Trailblaze here. I have no reason not to. And he does reveal that he is Scarf on the Cleavor here, because I was prepped to outspeed Cleavor. So he's Scarf Cleavor. We're going to get the Trailblaze off. And that's going to be a kill for Urshifu Rapid Strike on the Cleavor. Absolutely huge. And we've got the Trailblaze, so we have nothing to lose. As he's going to bring out the Quagsire now. So this I'm not worried about. I have Trailblaze. I do a whole lot of damage. It's clear he was Water Absorb and trying to bait me into clicking Surging Strikes, but that's not going to happen. I did think about just clicking Surging Strikes, but I have no reason not to just Trailblaze again. As he is going to reveal the Rindo Berry on the Quagsire as I go for the Trailblaze. Still doing about half of its current HP, so that was really nice, being able to do half here. As he's going to go for the Toxic, and so that's going to put my Urshi on a timer. I do have a timer to be able to kill this Quagsire and to kill the King Gambit if he starts pivoting around and playing games. I'm on a timer, and he could potentially get a kill on this thing. Especially with King Gambit's Supreme Overlord. So we kill the Quagsire here. That's 2 kills for Urshifu Rapid, and it's just the King Gambit now. And honestly, that's not too scary, as I am bulk up, I am close combat. If he's Sucker Punch, I can play around it. And if he's Terra, I'm still a little worried, because if he's Terra Fairy, that could be a problem. But, I mean, Clodsire can just sort of sit in front of it. And Chiyu can kill it with a Lava Plume, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to bulk up on the Sucker Punch, because I have a feeling he's going to go for Sucker Punch here. There's no reason for him not to click Sucker Punch. He knows I'm Trailblaze, but he doesn't know that I'm not locked in. He thinks I could be locked in here. And then he does end up terroring with the King Gambit, and he goes into Terra Steel, so I'm not 100% sure on the thought process with the Terra Steel here, but it was really nice. So we're just going to bulk up, and he's actually going to go for an attack. He did not. So he goes for the Brick Break. He probably thought he killed from that range with the Supreme Overlord, but not expecting me to click bulk up. So I'm just going to close combat. If he Sucker Punches, and I die. So we get the close combat off, and that is a 6-0 win for the Emerald and Amethyst against Smurfy. GG to Smurfy. There was a lot of chances where I could have sacked Pokemon if I made even the slightest of misplay in prediction. So that was really nice, being able to do that. So again, GG to Smurfy, and next week we take on Denny with the homeboy Denny for week 9, the final week right before playoffs. And we're going to have a bit of fun with that one. We're locked into playoffs. We're just going to have a bit of fun and play Denny with some memes.